He's strong enough. Oh, and we're live. Well, what do you know? We're live right now. Bang! Just look at that segue transition. You hear me? We out here. So this is the first episode of the new year, 2021. Not to be outdone. And this is episode 31, if I'm correct. And if I'm wrong, well, we ain't gonna edit out. We're gonna leave it for posterity because mistakes will be made, and we will learn from them. But right now, we're gonna rock with it like it's the 31st. So this is the 31st one, Disney Channel for those in the old times. And what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna get straight to it, right? So I am your gracious, thankful, humble, trying to maintain every bit of gratitude. Go peep that new Figo single. Thankful. And you know, Affluent, how are we doing today?
Today, we are in a good place. We are 6 days into the year. I'm hanging in there. It's rainy over here. I'm in the West Coast. I'm in San Francisco, and it's got a little rain today, but California can always use it. Um, a lot of folks are up in the mountains right now, getting a snowboarding, skiing on, toboggan and sledding, snowshoeing and things. Right now, for me, I'm just navigating this place we call the United States of America, and it's been an eventful date in history. Um, Kind of wish I was in DC to go spelunking, but just I like to climb walls like anybody else. Um, but it's a great day. I'm glad we got a guest in the building. Uh, the young homie, the young king, Dela Paz is in the building. Dela Paz, welcome.
Now, this might be the thing though, right? We've had technical difficulties for the past, 30 minutes or so. So, Dela, can we get a quick is there any way for you to understand? Can you understand what I'm saying right now? It's looking like
I understood the last sentence, but barely.
Okay, how are you? Welcome.
Yeah, I didn't understand that part.
Okay, so it's me.
oh, maybe we could have somebody this we gonna put our production crew to the max. Maybe they can type the questions and have you answer them. So I'm just gonna go ahead for posterity reasons and be like, "So, Dela, how are you doing?" And then you will say,
All right, bet. I mean, I heard like three words, and then the rest I couldn't hear.
Swag.
Did I get disconnected?
No,
No, I think I got disconnected.
"Technology don't like us." I'm gonna just wait until he talks
because
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 right now
because
it's just technology.
they know we're about to say something real.
Hello.
Yes.
Technical difficulties will arise in the
We
due
are definitely
times.
live.
We are definitely live. We're gonna roll with the punches. This is as we move into the new year. Um, I guess we could. Oh wait, Dela, you back? Oh wait, no, we we gonna be in and out of this one. Dela, you good? You back? You can you hear me? You probably can't hear me. I hope he's paying attention to the chat because that's how we're gonna do this. We're gonna find a way to get Dela's voice and message and who he is out into the universe. And hopefully technology gonna work with us. Let's see.
Say so.
It's all you. This all you. Daylight. This is all you.
I can't hear nothing, man.
Taylor, just this is all we're gonna do.
God, my internet is doo doo, man. This is terrible. This is terrible.
Good. Type them in the chat. Dela, check the chat.
All right, so
You
we
thought you was
gonna.
typing to him.
I thought I was, and I was so wrong. Maybe y'all could hear the vibrations through the microphone because I ain't got no stabilizer. All I could do is this. So the thing is, what's gonna happen is we just gonna get to it, right? It's the 6th, and Alfluent is actually transcribing all the words, or he's I'm doing a voiceover for everything Alfluent's saying right now. So the thing is, we trying our best to roll with the punches of 2021. And you know what? I'm gonna keep it on the other side of the fence. It wasn't the best day. It wasn't even like okay, maybe where I'm at in my particular location, I was thankful, blessed, grateful. I wasn't really too worried about what was going on in my environment. But on the East Coast in DC, let me tell you, they was tripping. Them people over there, them climbing on the walls. Same people build the wall. We want a wall. And then what they do? They climb the wall. Same people. Blue Lives Matter. What they do? Bum rush the police. It's trippy how. Wait, Dela, we back, Dela? We out here? We good? Say something. Say something for the people. Let's see if he going.
Yo, 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 yo.
Yo.
Yes,
Oh yeah,
we
yeah.
good.
Okay, I'm on the phone,
Nice.
guys.
It's all
Tell
good.
whoever on the phone we said what's up. Tell them you live right now on the podcast. That's
What's up? What's up?
worldwide.
What's up? I wonder
Who
if
on the
Dela.
phone?
I wonder if Dela could get the message if he on the phone. Dela, just answer all the questions in the chat. That's all you gotta do. Just say your answers. So I'm gonna put in the chat.
So who I am?
Yes.
My name is Abdiel Dela Paz, but I go by Dela. My friends and family call me AB. Um, and yeah, I'm living in San Francisco. Obviously, I was in Oregon for a little bit. I enjoy making music. I love making music. A specific genre, I wouldn't say. I like to um, mess around in certain genres, but yeah, I love making music. Um, and that's pretty much who I am.
Nice. Thank you, Dela. We're really glad to have you today. Through all the technical difficulties and all the events going on, we just really appreciate you, spending time today. Um, so, tell us when it comes to your process of making music, uh, where do you draw inspiration from?
Uh, I would say my inspiration comes from my loved ones because I feel like sometimes a lot of people lack motivation of some sort, but I feel like I can never really lack motivation because I got people that I want to I want to make proud. I got reasons to do what I want to do. Or sometimes I just motivate myself. I want to do what I love to do. Um, and there's no better feeling than the art of just creating the song and having that whole thing finished and being able to say that you did that. So just that feeling. And like I said before, also just your loved ones, my loved ones. I want to make them proud. My family members, a lot of them support me, and they just want to see me happy, and I do this for them as well. So that's where I get my motivation, I would say.
Okay, okay. That's what's up. I mean, given that you make music and I've had the opportunity to hear your incredible voice, how far back can you recall? Like how far back can we go that you can remember where you were like, I'm gonna sing? Like, when was that moment? How old were you? What was going on? Like, when was that moment when you realized, you know what, I got something I want to say and I'm gonna share it with my voice? Take us to that moment. When was that?
How far back? Uh, I would say probably. It's funny because it really hasn't been like that crazy long. Because some people, mm, artists, they've been doing this since they were like 5 years old or something like that, singing since like hella long ago. But I think it was freshman year, I think, of high school, which was probably 5 or 6 years ago already. Damn, that is a while. Damn, that 5 years ago, I would say. I remember, all I remember was just I was barely starting to play piano, and I was terrible. I probably knew like two chords, and I didn't even know what they were called. I would just click on them, and they sounded nice. They harmonized well, and I was like, "Ooh, that sounds nice." And I just started, I guess, I just started singing along with it, and I never really thought much about it. I was just like, "Oh, okay, I like it." I kept writing, and then after a while, I was like, "Yo, what if I could do this? This would be cool." Especially because as an artist that I look up to, somebody like Ed Sheeran, I just really love the way he created his music, with his lyrics and everything. His chord progressions, everything is just so detailed, and I love that. So I was just like, you know what, this is fun. And after a while, after a little bit, I started to really to actually enjoy it because at first you're not that good when you when you start. So, just seeing that process also made me be like, okay, yeah, I want to keep doing this. But I would say like 5 years ago or so is when, I started getting into it. And, a little bit after that, I really wanted to, pursue it a lot more. Yeah.
Nice, Dela. So outside of creation process, like what's one thing that's important to you as far as like your expression and like the completion of a track?
Oh, you waiting on us? Oh, okay, for sure.
Oh, he didn't
So
hear. Go ahead.
yeah, we're just say it again.
Yes, no, Dela, I was asking.
Oh, I
No,
can
I
hear
was
you
at.
guys.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
I
Well,
got
I
a
was.
feeling it's
Yeah, I
gonna.
want. Well, while we got it, I want to know, like, I know you enjoy, you say you enjoy the creation process, but like, what really do you strive for in completing a track, and like, what lets you know a track is done?
What lets me know a track is done and all that? Well, I mean, I think that's been like my main struggle. Sometimes it's just like you're finished with the song, and then you feel like you could add more to it. There's never It's hard. It's honestly really hard to say that. But I mean, I just want to get to a point where I feel, really good about it. Like where I guess you could say you could feel proud of it. Because there's been times where I write something and I'm just like, no, I don't want to, no, and I just
Right.
scratch it off. Or there's times where I don't want to keep doing it, but I still keep doing it because it's just like, okay, you never know how good it can, what you could do later on. So that's always like, even till today, like you could ask, like, um, like Figo, and then like Figo, we worked on a song and we took like 5 months to finish it because I kept adding and adding and adding, and I was like, wait, Figo, I gotta add this one more thing. That's it. And then afterwards, I did the same thing again. So it's really hard to say, but I just want to get to a point where I'm listening to it and I feel really good about what I'm hearing, and where I could say, "Oh, this is good enough." Because I don't know if I could ever feel like completely satisfied. Because I feel like there's so much you can do, literally.
Yeah, I
I
feel
feel
that
you.
way about literally everything I've ever written. Sin,
Right?
do you feel like you're still working on stuff that you have quote unquote completed?
I just showed you the whiteboard. I just before we got on here, I had a whiteboard, and on the whiteboard, like I'm in the process of remixing an old project that already like people have shared or had or access to, and to me, it's about like, okay, now that I've gained this skill at this point, I want to go back and then use those skills to step up what those old things were, right? So I've remixed so many old songs, so many old projects. I've touched up, edited, done things that to me it's never done, right? I'm gonna make music and I'm gonna be like, oh, it's out. But then I'm gonna go and still tinker and mess around with it. Like Let's Get a Gospel just came out. That project, I can't tell you how many iterations of verses and how many iterations of like mixes I went through before I could say, all right, I'm good. Whereas now I'm just gonna put stuff out regardless of, perfection, right? I'm aiming for, can I just jam to it and listen to it and enjoy it? And there'll be songs, of course, that I know will take a year's length of time, but I feel you, right? Like every time you hear something, you just get that inspiration to be like, I can tweak it. I could do this. I could just make it just a little bit more.
Yep.
And so, it comes with the territory of creating, right? We create with the intent of showcasing ourselves. And sometimes that means we got to put it in the oven for a long time before it's finished. So, I totally understand. But more importantly, like, what was the process from you being just like, I don't want to say typical, but you being Dela, who everyone is just like cousin, friend, family, student, to then being the one that's like, okay, I'm going to perform, I'm going to record, I'm going to put my energy and focus into making music. What was that? What was that period like when you're like, going from never having recorded a song to then like, oh no, this is what I want to do.
Um, there was little parts where I couldn't hear you, but I think I understood it. um, what was the transition and everything? Well, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny how you say that because I remember when I recorded my first song, which was called "This Life." Um, I recorded it, and then when they showed me it afterwards, I was like, "Yo, this is good." I was like, "This is me. Like, this is my voice." And I was so surprised because like even till today, I don't really consider myself a crazy good singer. I mean, what I've like what have I what I have like I guess kind of you can say realized them is like I I understand I pretty well, little things of, for example, like music theory and things like that. So that helps me with like a lot of other things. Like I've been in choir my whole life, but I've never really, even till today, I would say like I still haven't really processed it. I guess you can say like there's still little doubts and things like that. But the transition was it was weird because um I like to write music, but it was funny. There was a time where I was like, you know what? It would be cool if I could write music for people. That was my thought at first. It wasn't really to record music. I got here to SF. I was living in Ohio when I started, so it was out of nowhere. It wasn't something I was planning. I wasn't really planning on recording. I was just planning on writing music. I was gonna keep it to myself, but then I got here to SF. I met the people from Upstar. I got in there. They were like, "Let's record something." I didn't. I was very shy. I didn't want to do all of that. I mean, part of me did, but a big part of me did not, because I mean, especially when you're starting. Like I was freaking. I remember I was in the studio. I was shaking because I never really sang in front of anybody. So the transition it was it was out of nowhere. I think it all happened within like not even a month. A month before that, I wasn't planning on ever recording, and then I just started recording because some people, how like a lot of people they kind of tell you like, hey yo, like just go for it. And I was like, bro, I don't know, like there's gonna be people in there, they're gonna be listening to my voice. I don't know how I feel about that. Um, that was just younger me. That was like that's crazy. It's been like more than 2 years already, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, I recorded the song and I felt good about it. And I think it was then when I was like, yo, maybe I have a shot. And little by little, I started getting more comfortable with the idea of, oh, I'm an artist, like sometimes I still feel weird about saying that, because like I feel like I haven't put enough music out to feel comfortable enough. But even until then, I feel like I'm still transitioning, because like I still want to do more, and then like I want to get to a point where I could look at my songs, you know, stacked up and be able to say, yep, I'm an artist. I did all of this, and so yeah, there's I feel like there's still a lot more to go for me to realize, or for me to see that whole transition.
I feel you. So far, you have so far to go. So far to go. So
Yeah,
far to go. The thing that
yeah, that,
really interests me is that you have an extremely soulful voice. Has anybody ever told you that before? That your voice is like it sounds like you've lived here before.
like I lived you before.
Yeah, like your voice sounds like someone who's experienced multiple lifetimes. Like your voice doesn't sound like somebody who's just like, oh yeah, like no, nothing against any singer, right? There's beautiful voices all over, but your voice is very distinct where there's so much tone and texture to it that it's like, yo, who's this old dude that's hopping on the track with all this soul, like with all this, like he got like three ex-wives, like what's going on? Like, has anybody ever talked to you about your voice?
Well, I mean, I've gone, when you put music out, there's always people supporting you. I feel good about it, like, but I try not to, really think about it too much because it's just, well, yeah, I, I don't really think I have a straightforward reason, but I don't know why. I just don't really think about it much. But people have told me they've told me like they really, well, yeah, like my voice. I'm just thank you. That means a lot. But at times I still listen to the song and I'm just like, yeah, I still can't really. I still don't. I still can't really believe that that's me. Because it's still kind of new to me. I've been in the studio. I've recorded music, but I never, because honestly I don't really listen to my own music, which is weird. I don't know if it's weird or not. I don't know if you guys listen to your own music, but I don't really listen to my music. So I don't really think about it much. But I think one of the big things that kind of made me feel really good was because my dad, he composes songs, but they're for like church, they're worship songs. And I remember, writing some songs. He would like tell me little things, but I showed him that song, and he was telling me how it was really good. And I mean, coming from my dad, that was surreal. And not only because he's my dad, but only because he's been, he himself has been writing music for like since before I was born. I'm almost 20, so I get compliments, and some, like the one like that came from my dad, that one was, it really meant a lot. And I think little comments or little things like that is what really, you know I guess you can say, especially like I said before, my loved ones, my dad, of course, it kind of motivates me, and it's just overall a good feeling.
That's what's up. That's what's up. What? Who keeps you so humble? Like, how did you learn to be so humble? Like, who was the person that showed you humility growing up?
Well, that's a good question. My dad, I mean, I would say my dad. You know, my dad's always he's always been like that. I think you learn from example. And I think my dad, he set a good example for me. I mean, yeah, I mean he's a pastor, so he has to, right? But um, yeah, I mean he set a good example for me. And then even like when I first started recording music, which obviously was not too long ago, he would always tell me, he's like, hey, but whether you get zero views your whole life or whether you get a lot more or whatever it is, don't ever let it get to your head. He's like, don't ever let that happen to you, because then you're gonna turn into a person you don't want to be. And I was just like, you know what, that's true. I, mean, I try not to. I mean, it doesn't get to my head at this point. I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. I could be making music for 10 years, and if I average 5 views per song, or if I average a lot more, my mentality is, I'm just glad God is great. And yeah, so my dad and my mom, people around me, my siblings, my older brother, he's always been like that too. He's always really not necessarily talked to me about it, but I've seen it from him, you know. And so yeah, it's just really my family that really uh, taught me, to be like that.
Okay, okay. And you had mentioned like coming from Ohio and then being in San Francisco, and you said a little bit of time in Oregon too. What do you see are the differences between Ohio and San Francisco and even Oregon? Like, what were the things that you noticed were like, okay, this ain't nothing like this? What were those different things that stick out to you?
Huh. Well, shoot. I mean, because I've lived in a lot of places. Uh, I think I've moved like probably like at least 8 times throughout my life to different cities. I think. I mean, obviously, Ohio and San Francisco, way, way, way different. I don't think there's anything similar at all. But one thing I did notice right away from SF and love from SF is, and I don't. I hope this doesn't sound this isn't at all, throwing shade at people from Ohio, but just the people from San Francisco, they were all. I think it also depended on, I mean, because I went to Upstart almost right away, and everybody was there as like a family, and then I started making friends, because in Ohio, I mean, I think I was homeschooled for 1 year, and then the other year I went to high school. I was in band, but I didn't really talk to nobody. I mean, even to my senior year, that was like a loner, honestly. But just coming here, I had made a lot of friends here in San Francisco. I probably made like 3 or 4 friends in Ohio, and it was just a good feeling. Just the people felt really welcoming, and I was like, damn, like I got friends here. Like it was a good feeling. So it's just for me, it's the people. I think that's what makes a place, a place where you want to be, or home. So
For sure.
definitely the people. And Oregon, not much to say. I was there for 2 months. I moved there. I moved back. It was cool. It was beautiful there. They got nice trees. But
Legit.
yeah,
Like no
I
no
think that's
cap.
about.
Like they actually hella green.
Yeah, but it's colder over there, man. I thought San Francisco was cold.
I mean, what are
Yeah,
some of
now
the other
San
places? What are some of the other places you've been?
Well, I lived in Memphis, Tennessee. Um, I was 15, I think. That was quick. I only lived there for a year. Um, Before that, I lived in Santa Barbara. Actually, no, I lived in Oxnard for 1 year, and then prior to that, I lived in Santa Barbara for 3 years, California. Santa Barbara is beautiful. Um, and then prior to that, I was in Madera, California for 3 years, and then before that, I was in Houston. I was born in Houston. So yeah,
Okay, so you definitely had some time to see some different kind of scenery, some different places to be in around different type of people. Um, so
Yep.
what do you think for you, San Francisco is a place that you see yourself in the long term, or do you have the need to want to like, oh, I need to go over here first. I need to go try out this place. Like, I mean, what does that look like?
It's funny because that's actually a question that it's been going through my mind these past months, even now. Well, I love SF, especially because I mean, the people that I know that make music, obviously Lyrical, Upstart, Figo, a couple of my friends, Adro, Mally, and them. Um, and I feel like right here it's a good opportunity for me with music. And I think honestly, going off track a little, that's why I came back from Oregon, because I was like, Oregon's nice, but I wasn't making music over there, and I just felt like I was kind of wasting time that I could be using, with music. So San Francisco, it's a place that I want to take advantage of my time here. I will say that, but I mean, if I were to move anywhere else, it would be Santa Barbara because I lived there for a big amount of my life. And I think it was like around that area where around that time of your life when you're turning like a teenager. I was like 13, 14, 15. Just making dumb decisions. So yeah, if or when I do move, it would definitely be there. But it's either Santa Barbara or San Francisco. Those are the two places where I've truly felt like home. So
I hear
Yeah,
that. I hear
Dela,
that.
I think it's one of those things where you can say that you're an artist because one, you create art, whether you put it out or not, right? You create art and then you make choices, that motivated by creating art, right? So like you make life decisions, based on you creating art. So when you are in a new city or a new state for 2 months and you're like, I'm not creating art here, and you're like, I have to come back and be in a place where I create art. I have to be around the people that create art, right? That lets you know that you're an artist, whether anybody hears anything or not, right? But your process for decision making in your life is around creating art. So like I want to encourage you to say like, man, you're an artist, whether you're recording in the studio or not, if your lifestyle is, surrounding, art, and you're regularly creating, in your mind and heart, you're an artist, bro.
hey man, I appreciate that. It was definitely something that because when I was there, it was honestly something that was really bugging me, man. I was like, man, I just moved here. And I liked Oregon, nothing against Oregon, but I really wanted to do something, with the time I was with. I wanted to make music, really. I was writing music, but I felt like, I really wanted to record and, be around the people because, it's you could write music on your own, but it's different when you have your fellow friends around you that also create art, and it's just, I just wanted to, make music and make memories. And yeah, it was that you said a life decision. It was definitely a crazy decision because I remember when I moved here because I moved in with my friend. Well, I moved in with my friend. I remember the first night I slept here. I woke up the next day and I was confused where I was at. I was like, "What the heck? Where am I?" And then I was like, "Oh crap! I actually moved back to San Francisco." Like it was just a surreal moment, and I think I'm getting a little used to it now. But it definitely did take a while for me to realize like, "Oh crap! I moved out. I'm not with my parents anymore." Which I mean, it's
That's
definitely
big.
a big change. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit more about you creating with your friends, being in the studio and that recording time. What are the things that keep you motivated, keep you energized, that you look forward to being in those sessions? And then also like where do you like to how do you like to contribute in the studio? Like if you're not recording at the time and other people are there, like how do you listen to a track to contribute to it if you're not recording but you're part of the session?
Well, honestly, with the music I've been trying to, or I've been wanting to record, or we've been starting to record, it's been very mellow. So honestly, I like to just listen. It's it's uh, it's like, you said, you use the words energized. I think I like, the fact of just, everything being like peaceful. I want to record. I want to listen back. I want to hear how it sounds, and and if it sounds good, that's kind of what makes me like, okay, all right, this is, come on, I got it going, and I'm just like, yep, I got to keep going, got to keep recording. There's not really. I mean, sometimes, it depends who I'm there with. Um,
Right.
Mally, he sometimes when he sees little things, he tells me. But there's always somebody there, to, kind of, because if I was by myself, I feel like, I mean, it'd be cool, but having somebody else there, it definitely changes up, the way things are going, and like the mood,
Right.
and all of that. Somebody like Malik, he knows he knows about music, he knows what he's talking about, and so I wouldn't say energized, but I just think having there, um, with you, you feel comfortable, which at first it wasn't the case, but it is now. And
Nice.
and then I would say, as far as when I'm not recording, um that's a good question, because I'm hardly, well, I want to say hardly, but I'm not often in there while other people are recording. But when there has been times, I do like to listen. And I'm not a rapper or anything. Most of my friends are rappers. Um, I can't correct their lyricism, because I'm not like them. But I do like to listen, and then I do like try to like tell them little things what I can. But uh, if it's like somebody, like Figo, I can't tell him, man. He's been doing this. I was like 9 when he started doing this, so you know it just depends. But if it's like with other people that are singers, which has been, it's been rare, honestly. It hasn't been um pretty often or anything like that. Yeah, I think it's this one. But I just try to listen back, and give any type of feedback that I can give. Yeah.
You can tell Figo whatever you want. Don't ever feel like you can't tell Figo, like, hey, bruh, that ain't it. That ain't it. Right there, that bar, that ain't it. So don't ever hesitate. If you feel like Figo ain't up to par, like you listen to Figo and you be like, wait, what? Don't hesitate. Let them know, like, hey, Figo, bruh, you got to start your bars up right here. But I mean, all joking aside, like, it is a thing where, you know, it's not so much about age as much as it is about what's in your gut. Like when it comes to music, I feel like, experience does play a role. Experience does play a factor, but it is about what's in your gut. And it looks like are we having some technical difficulties, Dayla? Is it hard to hear? Are you having trouble hearing? Just a little bit? I'm gonna have to, I don't know if I gotta turn it up
Um,
or
yeah, I can like understand a little. I'm trying to listen, because at
no.
first I couldn't hear you, and then I started. Say that again.
I
Say
was just
something.
saying, can you hear me now? Is it bad? Is it
I
is
could
it
hear you better now.
okay? I was just gonna say, like, don't hesitate to tell Figo the truth. Like if you are in the studio with Figo and you're like, nah, bruh, nah, I know it in my heart, I know it in my gut, then you let him know, because it isn't about how long he's been rapping. It isn't about how long he's been doing it, right? Y'all can learn from each other, right? You have a gift, he has a gift, right? And that goes for any artist, right? I'm saying Figo only to play around and be facetious. Again, I love Figo. Figo's an incredible artist as well. He is extremely talented. But you can't minimize what your instincts are telling you, right? Because we grow from each other, right? We test the waters, right? I've been in the studio with people who have had less experience or more experience, and my gut is going to tell me, okay, I should try it out. They're going to tell me something. Maybe I should listen to what they're saying and see how it works, because sometimes they might have a great idea, and sometimes I'm learning from it just by doing it. Maybe I don't use it. Maybe I don't put it into practice, but it is an opportunity where I'm doing something new. And I think that, when you're working with people, if you feel it in your gut, man, you got to say something. So, don't ever hesitate to speak up. I mean, again, if you're in the studio with someone like Ed Sheeran, then maybe not. Maybe just shut up and sit back and listen. But if you've been in there for like 5 songs and that ain't it, then maybe you should be like, hey, bruh, Ed, you're going to have to chill. Did we lose? I hope we didn't, but okay. We're going to roll with the punches. So as we wait for Dela to come back, I feel like Dela has said a lot of incredible things, but in just trying to really understand and maximize his ability and how incredible he is.
Out, bro.
You said what? You said you think you got cut off? Did you get cut off?
I got disconnected, but
I mean, it happens, man. We all get disconnected sometimes. I mean, it's hard to be connected, but with the connections, I mean, what does this sound like to you?
Singing on the weekend as I wear my sweater. My brother put it in the dry, so he lost his leather.
That's a jacket, bro.
Whatever, I ain't the man with the clothes. Don't care about material things. Being happy is a goal. Up all night, all alone. Take me out, don't take me home. When I say up all night, all alone, take me out, don't take me home.
It go up all night, right into the early morning. I'm just living life, and my story I'm recording. Capturing the moments, watch it start touring. Let's go. Different lands where the language is foreign. Some may say that I'm just dreaming. Guess I'm living my dreams, cause I ain't sleeping. Singing these songs like every other weekend. Her sky's the limit, so heaven's what I'm reaching. Wonder if they hear when I'm speaking.
So how did that song come together? Take me through the creative process of that song. Up All Night by Dela Paz featuring Figo. How did that song come about? How'd y'all make that?
I want to make sure I understood your question. You said what was the creative process of that song? How did we write it and all of that? Is that what you asked me?
How did you come to making that song? Yeah. What was the process of you guys making that song? How did it come about?
Okay, so I couldn't hear the last part. But I think you were just asking me, how did we come up with that song and everything, right?
You got it, dude.
Can you hear me?
Yep. I hope you can see the thumbs up. We got so many thumbs up.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Put it in the chat that we can hear them. Yes. Tell them you got the question right.
Yo. Can you guys hear me? Okay. All right. Damn, it looks so weird. Just making sure. So yeah. So the way I want to make sure you guys can hear me, because imagine if you guys can hear me. How did we start writing that? Let me see. Yeah, I remember. I was just looking around, sometimes you're just looking through beats and everything. And I heard specific beat, and I was like, "Yo, this sounds fire," and I just started singing to it.
Technology don't love us. Technology
Boom.
is sometimes
That's
against
the
us.
creative process.
Rolling
Boom.
with the punches.
You hear the beat,
Roll.
start singing to it. I like that attitude. I like that attack plan. It's like I hear it, I sing to it.
Hey, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I got disconnected.
Yeah, we
Oh, we know.
we noticed. Yes, but Dela, I like that. I like that attack plan. I like that approach. I heard the beat. I thought it was fire. I sang to it. That's a great approach to creating.
Bro, I can't understand anything.
Technology working against us. Technology don't want to see us win sometimes. Technology out here
I
be
heard that
hating
one.
on us. Oh yeah, you heard that. You see, and then you go. See, this is how technology works, right? Like we had Shannon in the comments watching on YouTube talking about Up All Night, you know. It's a great song, right? And I think that, you know, it's just unfortunate, you know. I mean, Shannon again said, dang, he was getting into the answer too. I'm sitting here fumbling with the microphone. It's all coming down right now. This is Lyrical Ones, episode 31. And we trying to get through all the punches in, you know, the preceding evenings. You know, Dela is incredible in all his gifts and talents. And, you know, unfortunately, technology is conspiring against us somewhat. Yeah, decolonize the internet for real, for real. Let the water flow. Let the vibes flow. Decolonize the internet for real, for real. Because this, I mean, come on, we see Lyrical Assembly via YouTube. Someone needs to decolonize their internet connection. We're praying for this live stream and interceding. I mean, come on again.
We need
We was
those
just,
intercession prayers.
come on. So I guess, you know, I mean, you know what? Let's just do it like this. What's the process, Daylight? Daylight, what's the process?
Bruh, I got the bruh. Hey, I just realized there's people in here, isn't there? I saw people commenting. I was like, whoa.
People watching on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we're on Twitch live.
Yeah, well then
And on
that's
Twitter.
even more embarrassing. Jeez.
What you talking about, man? These are the glory moments. These are the moments that are your founding blocks that you can refer back to. Like, man, I remember one of my early interviews. The internet wasn't rock with me, but now I'm in the sturdy room palace, and I have the ability to share everything I do with the world. So, you know, humble beginnings, as they say. You know, we just I'm coming live from the space station, doing the first ever live performance in space. You know, we're gonna get there. That's a big one, you know what I'm saying? International Space Station. That's a world tour as you're touring the world, like 1 and 1. But
I think
like,
I just need a internet extension.
I mean, you know, we'll make it work. You know, get close to a Wi-Fi box or something.
Bro, the Wi-Fi box is right next to me.
All right, maybe not, but it's all good. You know, get the foil outfit one time, get a foil jacket with the foil hat, hold on to the screen, connect, hold on to the, you know what I'm saying?
Where's my foil blazer?
Foil blazer with the foil tie.
Was that like a something people do? I never heard of that.
Oh, you never. Oh, that's because you come from a different era where you ain't never had to worry about your reception for anything. So back in the days, let me just put you on one time. There was these TVs that had antennas. Antennas are referred to the things in your cell phone. You see the bars go up and down. They actually had like a real antenna that would hook to the TV, and depending on where you put the antenna, it would pick up more signal or less signal from being able to be staticky and horrible to clear and beautiful. And so what people would do is they would use foil to try and strengthen the signal of the antenna. So a lot of times people will use foil, you know,
or the wire hanger.
or put a foil hat on to stop the brain waves from the government and their paranoia to get into their head. So foil is like a disruptor. They even say that foil helps disrupt cell phone signals if you like wrap your phone in foil, but I've yet to see that really be true. But again, foil. So beyond the foil of the foil plot, we're gonna get into the fact that you have, I mean, what music are you planning on releasing? What's the future hold for Dela? What's the future music looking like?
All I gotta say is that I want to drop a lot of music, but okay, look, I have a couple of songs that they're basically finished. There's just little things. Last year, I only dropped like 3 songs, and 2 of them were features. You know, so that was something that really I don't want to say bothered me, but I didn't feel good about. So I really this year I really want to work on consistency. So I already told I told Figo about this. I was like, man, I want to drop at least 10 singles this year. And I was like, that's a goal I'm setting. So that's something I'm gonna do. Soon I wanted to drop something this month, but some things I have to go to Oregon for some stuff to visit my mom and all of that. So I'm gonna be away from like the studio and things. But I'm definitely planning to drop. I want to have enough music stacked up to where I could drop like 2 songs in a month eventually. Cause like right now, I'm not gonna drop anything this month, but my goal is next month. But then again, I don't want to do it too soon, because of playlisting and all that. But definitely, my plan is definitely to drop music really soon, and maybe in Spanish. So
Oh,
I want
okay.
to mix it up.
Nice. Definitely
Yeah,
here,
man.
definitely here for the Spanish album, for the Spanish tracks. You have a plan or thought about putting out an EP at all?
Uh, I don't, I don't know, man. Honestly, because I have thought about that, but also like I feel like I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because maybe maybe I heard wrong information, but maybe I'm completely wrong about this. You guys have done this longer than me, so you guys let me know. But for me, since I'm barely starting, this is just how I thought about it. But like I said, I may be wrong. I want to drop singles because it's I could drop them back to back. Be consistent. Whereas if I have 4 songs and I drop them all in one project, that's a whole lot of work dropping at once. Where I would have 4. Let's say if an EP has 4 songs, instead of dropping an EP with 4 songs, I would drop those 4 songs separately. This month and then this month and then this month. But I think the reason why I think like that is because I haven't been consistent. But I feel like if I am consistent, I could drop an EP and then still drop a song the next month, and then after that. So I don't know. I guess it just depends. But so far, I haven't really thought much about a EP. But um, maybe that's something I would have to think about again.
Well, I think when you have the rhythm of recording regularly, then you can start to play with that picture a little bit more. And so
Hmm.
because you don't have that routine of being in the studio on a regular basis, recording what you're writing, or even just messing around with projects, um, right? It's hard to see that as an option that makes sense because
Yeah.
it's your visits to the studio are so far apart that you don't want to just put everything you've done in a year, right, into one thing. And but sometimes that can be a easier way for people to find like your stuff instead of like trying to get through the singles. And if you can just put a project together. But it all depends on what fits the lifestyle you're living, and then the lifestyle you want. It's like your approach. Sin, what do you think about you know the single to EP, you know, approach.
Look, let me tell you, ain't no rules. There's no rules to this. There's none. Like, do what
Yeah.
you feel. Do what your heart is telling you to do, right? Like, to me, I'm trying to do it all, right? I've been in the spot of releasing projects, and then I've been in the spot of releasing song after song, and I've gotten a response because the nature of the world, right? I don't get to control who's listening to my music. So the nature of the world is people are looking for something new all the time. And when you're able to give them something new all the time, they're more receptive to it, right? For example, I released a project over the course of a year. I seen so many plays, so much traction from doing that versus me releasing a project all at one time. And so there's also the thing of working your songs, right? Like we'll release a song and then we'll work it for like a week. Then by the second week, we kind of temper down, right? By 2 months, we don't even mention it, right? We don't even consider, oh, maybe we got like 10 new followers that don't know about this song. So we're less
Right. So
obliged
Sin, by
to want
working
to
it,
share
you
it.
mean promoting it, right?
Yeah, promoting it, right? Being able to feature it in different ways. I think that should also, people got to think about that, because you got, like, for me, like I said, I'm gonna be releasing a song every week, right? Like I'm releasing a song that, due to the events of today, it changed the format of what I'm going to release, but I'm definitely going to be releasing a song this week,
Right.
right?
That's
And
crazy.
so every week I'm gonna release a song, but also every like quarter to every 6 months, I'm gonna release a project that is totally separate from those songs I release frequently, right? And that's only because I have the capacity to do so, but I'm just now getting to that point where I could do it now, right? I've been making music for so long. I would pour in years of work and effort and energy into my projects, where now I've gotten to such a frequency, and I'm fortunate to be able to record at such a frequency that now I can just turn out music as much as I want or as little as I want. But again, the world we live in, people are consuming so much. So you have to just figure out what is best for your heart and for what you need to do. What's going to protect your energy so you can be consistent and sustain it. Because don't chase the number, right? Build a community, build a fan
Yeah.
base, right? Build a foundation, because that's stable, right? When you're chasing a wave, well, now you got to wait for the weather. Now you got to wait for the right tide. Now you got to go find where it's at instead of it coming to you. And so, you have an incredible voice. I think you have such an immense talent. Trust that process, right? Like everybody could say your train running late, but for you, it's always going to be on time. And you have to remember that. Like, there's no one that could define what this looks like for you. If you're over it, man, write a bunch of music then. Write 10 songs, right? But your heart got to be with it. And so, that's what you got to balance out, right? What your mind is telling you versus what your heart is leading you to. And I think that, it's just so necessary, because people, so many will like, oh, I'm just gonna make a bunch of songs. But if your heart's not in it, then you might have just wasted your time, right? Versus making one incredible song that everybody's like, that's the song that saved my life. And it's like,
Yeah, that's so true.
you just don't know how that's gonna work out, right? Was it the song you wrote in an hour, or was it the song it took you a year to finish? You just don't know. And the only way you can is just by pursuing it and seeing where the road leads you. So, it's all about the journey. Don't get caught up in rules. Don't get caught up in what people tell you. Like, unless they have proven numbers and they can show you, like, look, I just made a bunch of crap and everyone loved it. Well, that might be hard to beat. But, again, it's still up to you to make that choice and that decision to say, oh, well, I think I'm going to try it out this way. So, experiment to your heart's content and see what works.
Yeah. I try not to get because I've kind of thought about it to where, like, I try not to get impatient, because sometimes I'm just like, man, like, I want to release music now, like right now. But I mean, I didn't start too long ago, and then I think about it, I'm just like, man, you know what? I may not have that consistency or whatever it is right now, or that space where I could just sit down and write music, because I'd be writing music, and then my roommate, and there's people in the background, and it's just not, I don't feel like it's the right spot to be writing music, but I still write it. So sometimes I'm just like, man, you know, maybe in a year or two, maybe three, with time, I'm gonna have, you know, that perfect, um, I guess you can say, routine where I could, you know, really get to work. So I think of this year or these years, even though I do want to be consistent with music, I, like you said, I'm trust the process. So I try to be patient, or I'm gonna try.
Nah, I mean, I
Amen.
feel you.
That's what we all doing is trying.
I mean, and besides, ain't nothing wrong with being featured on tracks. I mean, when you featured on tracks, right? Like, think about what those
Nate Dogg.
tracks.
Think
I mean,
about Nate Dogg.
think about Nate Dogg.
R.I.P.
Um,
Nate Dogg.
Nate Dogg.
Before Nate Dogg dropped the solo album, he had a Rolodex of features.
a catalog of features, right? A collection of work. Built a
An
resume.
Odyssey.
That's true. But I mean, when you making stuff that I don't know sounds like this,
Right.
We've been talking for a while. We've been talking for a while. We've been talking for a while.
Been thinking about the things you said, going in circles inside my
Come on, bro.
head. Maybe we should chill and just be friends. But I know.
See, every second of this is better than getting seconds of grits. You talking reckless if you thinking other. I'm trying to plot ways to make you my baby mother. Hold up, Facebook, oh. I want that baby status. Yin yang, baby, all I want is balance. No tricks, but the love feel like magic. Man, this got me wondering, where we going? Do we have control? That's something I'm never knowing. I'm hoping the option open. Concerned I might be broken, cause these voices in my head got me choking. It's all I want. All I ever wanted is a love. I think that's why one of my fears is what it was. Don't wanna be alone, but my song red. Got these ladies thinking that they can't talk here. I share my love, so this stay fair. Cause my first love music, let's just keep it
We've
real.
been talking for a while. We've been talking.
You know, I hope we shoot a music video for that, man.
man. We're all
I told
hoping.
I told Melly, but he didn't reply. I'm gonna call him.
Hey, hold your friends accountable. Hold your friends accountable. Friends
Like,
out
what's up, bro?
there. Dela Paz,
Your friends
California,
out
Figo.
now.
And who is that incredible female singer that y'all have on that song as well?
That's Kay. She killed it, man. I was blown away. I was like, geez, this is really good. Especially
Really
because
good.
there was a section right there where I was supposed to be on, but I was like, and then she ended up doing it. I'm just like, thank God you did it, because, you know, I was really struggling with that little section. So yeah, she definitely killed it.
Teamwork
That's what
made the
friends are
dream
for.
for real with friends or for. But you know, it's just I think it's yeah, you're making dope music, and I think it's just sharing that music with everybody you come in contact with, because it's just so good. Like I was bumping that the other day, and I was like, this is just so good. Like I wanted to share it with people. Like somebody has said something about what happened to the days when we had R&B singers on the hook. First thing I thought about was that song, and guess who's the R&B singer on the hook? You know what I'm saying? Like that's you. So it's one of those things where you put in the quality effort, you're gonna get quality outcomes. And I think that's just what it is. Being consistent with that sense of quality and focusing on that. I think you kind of it'll lead you to wherever you're trying to be. And I think that you know, you're making dope stuff. It's incredible, it's good, it's heartwarming, and you know, I think that people always talk about what's missing in the world. And I don't think it's missing. I just think they haven't found it yet. And you know, the other responsibility you have is helping them find it, right? Everyone, oh, what happened to the good old days? What happened to this? Nah, it ain't about what happened to it. Everything exists as is, but do you know where it's at? And I think for what you have to share and what you have to bring to music and the artistry that you encompass, man, just you got to share that. You just got to let people know. People gonna see you, right? But do they know what you're doing? Do they really know what you have to bring? And I think that's the
Yeah.
big key, right? How are you gonna bring it? Do you have a New Year's resolution? What's your New Year's resolution look like?
Huh. New Year's, like something I'm gonna do this year.
Yeah, go for it.
It don't got nothing to do with music. That's the thing. I
That's all
mean,
right.
if it's with music, with just consistency. But I haven't even told Figo, so I'll just wait. I'll just wait. But it's like something crazy that I'm gonna do this year. And he's gonna be like, "What the freak?" You know. So
I feel it.
yeah,
I feel it.
I what's the word? Never mind. But
Never mind.
something. It's something.
Never mind. Yeah, it's gonna be on
Ne-
our mind, but we ain't gonna
Next
figure it
time,
out.
next time I come on, I got y'all.
No, for sure. I appreciate it. I mean, thank you. I mean,
Yes.
it's the thing where we appreciate your time, your energy, and your efforts in the world. And you spending time with us is incredible. Despite all the challenges and hurdles, you were consistent and persistent throughout, just overcoming. So,
Appreciate it, man.
do you have any final things that you want to share to the people that are listening, those that will be listening for the rest of the universe? Like, any final thoughts?
Mm, I mean, whoever's watching, just whatever it is they create, just keep at it. Also, go Warriors. Lakers aren't going back to back, and yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Okay, I feel it. I feel it. Dela Paz, thank you very much for your time. Super appreciate it. Many blessings and well wishes to you and yours. And yeah, just keep rocking, man. Just keep making your thing. And
You guys as well, man. So
no, for
appreciate
Yeah,
sure.
you
we
guys.
appreciate you. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Had a blast. Even with the blasted internet, we still
Even
had a
with this doodle
blast.
white hair.
Nah,
It's
man,
all
it's all
good.
blame it on the internet. Blame it on the internet. It's the internet fault.
It was the internet, man.
Yeah,
But
De La
yeah,
Paz, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Look
man, for
forward
sure.
to
Thank you
hearing,
guys.
looking forward to hearing more of your work, more of your efforts, more of your art, more of your creativity. Looking, can't wait to hear your voice on the next thing. Because I know you got to give us something for the summer. I know you got to give us something for the summer. You got
A
that
summer
summer voice.
vibe.
That soulful summer vibe. We need that from you.
Hey, now I gotta do it, man.
That's it.
For sure, man.
all
Peace,
right.
man.
Peace out.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one.
You have a good one as well.
You too. Thank you.
So, that was De La Paz. This is episode 31 of the Lyrical Ones podcast. It is January 6th, 2021. And we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this. We gotta make it through. Cause we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this. I mean, for
We're gonna
those
get
that
through
know,
this.
we're gonna get through this. But beyond the David Bedingfield song that came out back in 2001, 2003, I don't really remember.
I gotta get
Um,
through this.
gotta get through this. Gotta make it through. But we are gonna get through this. And what we've touched on lightly, which we'll now jump into, right? It's quite the segue, quite the transition. Today,
The Dragon Road transition.
Affluent, what happened today with the Senate? Did you witness anything? Did you see anything? Did
Man, they had to put the Congress on recess, bro. Like straight up recess. Got straight domestic terrorism, straight spelunking, and storming the Capitol building by citizens of the United States of America. Folks started out as a rally or a protest, if you will, in opposition of the results of the 2020 presidential election, and it ended up as just an embarrassing moment in U.S. history where like the prevalence of uh, un unearned white privilege, um, and a display of white fragility, straight just like a tantrum by folks as they stormed the Capitol building. Folks literally breaking windows in the Capitol building, pushing police aside, uh, taking selfies with police officers, stealing podiums out of the Capitol building, where uh, representatives in the House had to lock themselves in their chambers until the building was clear. It's like something out of what's that movie? Olympus Has Fallen with Gerard Butler. It was kind of like that. I'm about to ready to watch that. I'm about ready to watch that. Who's that? Jamie Foxx was the president?
I think it was Morgan Freeman. Morgan
No,
Freeman was
no,
the president.
no. No, it couldn't have been Morgan Freeman. You gotta look that up.
I mean, so you think it?
Morgan
Because
Freeman.
it was Morgan Freeman, but look at Morgan Freeman all in the chat right now. Comments coming in. Morgan Freeman, Morgan Freeman, Morgan Freeman.
Okay, what was the
There was
one with Jamie
another-
Foxx as the president?
Jamie Foxx was the president in the one who was protecting Jamie Foxx in that. It was somebody else. It's one of those situations where the same movie comes out twice, where you know
Right.
they be like, "We gonna make double. We gonna make money off of y'all," because it's just one
Y'all
of those.
like this story.
I like this story. White House Down was what it was called. It came out in
White House
2013,
Down.
right? So
Right.
you got like you got a lot going on. I'm gonna say it from the other angle, right? You were saying how the police, or I guess the people, right? People made it in the building. People broke the windows. People stole podiums. I'm Shannon Tatum. Thank you, Shannon, for giving us that piece
With
of
Jamie
information.
Foxx. That's right.
Shannon Tatum, Jamie Foxx, right? Gerard Butler, Morgan
Gerard
Freeman,
Butler,
right?
Morgan Freeman. That's I
Man.
think that works.
Yeah. So in this situation, I'm gonna say it on the other angle. The police allowed them to get in the building. The police allowed them to break the windows. The police allowed them to walk out with podiums. Now, it's not to discredit the police who were really in fear of their safety and their lives and had to make decisions that maybe jeopardized the property, right? There were some of that. But what I also saw were people who were complicit, who were colluding, who were accomplices, because when I look at the effort that was put in, the level of energy and exertion, right? If I was to watch a football game and I was like, oh my God, they're playing with their heart, but they're losing. I could see they're playing with their heart, right? I could see they're playing with their heart, right? Even when they win, they're playing with their heart. You can see it, right? The same goes with winning, right? Oh man, they're not even playing with any heart, but they're winning. They're killing it, right? Or, right, they're trying with they're trying with no might. They're losing with no might at all. They're not putting up any effort, right? You could tell effort when
Stormtroopers.
you see it. Exactly. You could just fall off to the side. And so I seen more than one occasion by being, now I'm a remote viewer, right? I'm observing this situation as it takes place. I'm trying my best to reserve any sense of judgment beyond my experience and observations of other situations, other moments in time. This has been the review of 2020, now looking at 2021. I got 2020 vision in a new year. And I'm looking at the situation take place and I am like, oh, the level of effort, energy, exertion, right? What I'm seeing in front of me does not equal what was done in the past, right? Y'all knew what was coming. Y'all knew better than to, oh, wait, that's right. Some of y'all may have felt the same way, right? Some of y'all may have felt strongly that, you know what? I'm going to put up a good effort while the camera's rolling. But as soon as things subside, let's take a selfie, right? You think that the news cameras and a phone camera don't reach the same audiences, but they do, right? I'm not gonna leave any stone unturned. Again, there were moments where I seen officers had to make very quick decisions that were just unfortunate in terms of the outcome, right? No one should be afraid of just being in an environment where it's about decisions and policies. But here we are. It's not a war zone. We hold ourselves as one of the kind of first world countries. And in this moment, I mean, it's not to minimize or discredit. It's just the association that we commonly place on third world countries is civil unrest, right? This extreme level of defiance, this extreme level of you're taking flags that have meaning, right? 3 flags in particular, right? Or let's say 4 flags. I'll say 4 because I've seen 4 flags, right? Let's break down the flags we've seen and the plays on the call. So the first flag that I seen was the Blue Lives Matter flag, right? As it's charging the police. Now the imagery in itself is iconic and ironic. It's like y'all made such a hoopla over that flag, what it means in spite of what's going on with Black Lives Matter, in spite of police brutality against Black people, and despite everything that's going on with the civil unrest in this country, right? Whether it's ICE and what they're doing with the camps, and it comes to people who immigrated here, regardless of what the official status of their immigration is. This was the flag y'all paraded around of high level of importance, right? And I understand they took an oath on the badge. I'm not trying to minimize and discredit that, but now having 2020 vision and realizing, oh, that's right, this industry, this job and this profession is founded upon the backbone of slavery, right? And now we're really having to look at what are the things that we're kind of looking at. What are they founded upon, right? So let's go a little bit past the Blue Lives Matter and let's go to the Confederate flag. The Confederate flag, right? I seen the Confederate flag. And the Confederate flag, this isn't me saying, oh, you guys are losers, but that was the side that lost the war in the Civil War. They lost, right? And so when I see that flag, those to me represent history and enemies of the state, right? Because again, that flag was against what we now stand on as a country. So when you represent that flag, you're representing a side that lost in a war, right? They lost the war. And now you hold on to that heritage because it was passed down to you, right? Whether it's misinformation or whether it's your cultural heritage, the facts are the facts. The country we live in, we defeated you guys. You are one with us, right? But you rep that flag because you are against. So now let's take
Right,
it. Let's
disagree with the statutes of the opposing side.
Exactly. You could move. You could go somewhere else, right? You're classic, right? So now let's move forward, right? And let's look at, because I mean, think about it. If it was, how bad was it? You could have been refugees and y'all could still leave. But again, the war is over. Y'all lost the war. So let's take it to the other flag, right? This is the third flag I seen. The Nazi flag, right? The Nazi party tried to rule, went to war, right? World War II, right? Incredible, huge, just atrocity, tragic. I mean, it was a world war, right? And the Nazis lost, right? But what did the Nazis represent in terms of their ideas of ethnicity and culture and race and how they saw the world, right? And what that represents, right? When it comes to their ideas and ideology around a pure breed. So now we took the Blue Lives Matter, we took the Confederate flag, we took the Nazi flag, right? We got 2 loser flags, right? When it comes to having lost wars, right? We're not talking about teams who lose games. We're talking about war where people died, people had values that they stood on, and those wars once over
and died for those values.
Yeah, died for those values, right? It's not to discredit or minimize what people or families or history had gone through, but again, when you lose a war, the idea of conceding, right, to know that, okay, I need to back down is a part of the process. So you're holding these 2 flags with the flags that we use as a reminder of like the service in kind of duty to being a police officer in the United States. Those are 3 flags. And let's take it to the 4th flag, which is the new losing party. The Trump flag, right? Trump, right? Trump lost, right? So we got 3 losers, and then we got the police. So you charge the police with these 4 different flags, 2 of which are representatives of enemies to our democracy and what we stand for, right? They were our enemies in a civil war and a world war. And now Trump, who isn't an enemy, but lost, as far as we know, fair and square, right? Let's trust this process. He doesn't. Donnie T holding on, being the figure point, right? I remember in the debate, they said, will you denounce the Proud Boys and acknowledge that the harm they're causing? And he like, stand back, stand by. And the first thing I thought of when I seen today was, I guess the stand back, stand by order has been lifted. Because what I'm witnessing is people who now don't respect the same values that they think that they're securing or that they're somehow empowered by, right? I'm seeing, yes, the privilege of this body of people who just are acting out in like pure like ignorance, right? To then try and gain some sense of false control because now they're inside of this building. Now they've stolen a podium. Now they've been able to deface the property, right? The same when the looting starts, well, they ain't shoot nothing, right? We got a couple pepper spray cans and then that was it, right? And it's like, I don't want harm caused to nobody. I don't want to see people in harm. But how many people are going to get the message that, well, as long as I have black skin, brown skin, as long as I don't look like the half of America who voted for Don Teasy, right, who don't stand behind those values and those ideals, well, I'm going to find myself in harm's way, right?
Right.
Because what I seen was, oh yeah, they stormed the building. Now we just gonna have a conversation about it, right? But when we sit here and we talking about all the victims to police brutality and gun violence, especially at the hands of law enforcement, man, look at how swift the videos pour in of all the tragedy of all the life lost, right? And yet today, as horrible as it was, thankfully no one was hurt. Thankfully no one was hurt. But that seemed like an expectation. It didn't seem like a surprise. It didn't seem like, oh yeah, no one got hurt. It was like someone did get hurt. Let's not minimize that. Let's not escape that. Someone did get hurt. Someone. Beyond that, when we think of, well, if everybody looked like where I come from and who I knew and who I grew up with, I don't think any one of us would have made it out. I don't think, people, the fact that people are saying it in disbelief with a sense of whatever expression there is, so many times I've seen today, had there been a bunch of black people, had there been a bunch of black and brown people, they would have dropped a bomb. Right? I mean, Fred Hampton. Right?
It's wild because, coming off of a few days where we get the announcement that, no one will be charged, in the shooting and the murder of Jacob Blake. You would think that the response would look something like the response to that news would look something like what happened in DC today. But I think folks are tired, and it's very disheartening and deflating to see folks stand up for what they believe, oppose the system, oppose the democracy of this country, the values of this country, ransack the Capitol building, during a session, congressional session, and in pretty much in disrespect, and not only not get arrested, right? Not only was no one lost their lives, but everyone was able to get home, okay as well. They're able to leave under their own free will and dissipate, when they were ready to, and they had to adhere to a curfew that was instated, a day of for 6 p.m. Eastern time. But other than that, just kind of let them go on their field trip, in and around the Capitol building, and it's just a wild narrative to see, and with Donald Trump's Twitter account, being suspended for 12 hours for, his apparent inciting, the violence. Because, when it comes down to it, whether anybody was hurt or, one person was hurt or one person was shot or one person was maced, it is violence. It's violence that's, repeated and replayed, over and over, just like, the brutal murders of, citizens of the United States of, different ethnicity. Their murders are replayed over and over. Violent murders, replayed over and over, and their 911 calls replayed over and over, and that's violence on, on the police's behalf, and then you see, violence against the police, played over and over, and says a lot about the culture, and the media's MO really, and just this repetition, this recycling of violence as something that's presentable and acceptable, in any form is, something that's really terrible to me. That we shouldn't have to, see it, deal with it. It should not be, a point of interest as it is when there are people still starving, people are still losing their jobs, losing their homes, losing their businesses. And because, folks were allowed to roam free, on the property for so long, it just took up so much, of the, evening news cycle, and well into the morning news, tomorrow, that, things that should be talked about, like, the Democratic Party, flipping 2 seats in the Senate to, gain control of the Senate. And it's wild. I don't think I lost Sineo, but we got to thank Georgia for coming out to vote early, coming out to vote in droves, and thanks Stacey Abrams. I think Joe Biden should just come into his inauguration and just say whatever Stacey wants. Say, Joe, what is your plan for the next 4 years? Whatever Stacey Abrams wants, that'll work. We just have her, like, have her be a consultant for the State Department. It's just like we do got a long way to go, and it's going to take small communities talking about these issues, and churches and neighborhoods, town hall meetings, and folks really talking about what's important, and how they're going to protect themselves when folks want to take these type of stuff around the country, when we go on a nationwide tour, bum rushing buildings. Folks got to really know how to handle themselves and defend themselves, and how to navigate a system that's not set up for them to win, and it's not set up to protect them either.
I mean, man, it's crazy. Let it be a Walmart. Let it be a Walmart. Watch
Man,
how
all the hypotheticals, man.
right.
We already know. We already seen it. It's not even about an if.
We already experienced it. Right? We experienced it multiple times, and in this instance, looking at how it's playing out, right? It's unfortunate people like I was looking at the news when you were talking, and I was seeing, well, what are the consequences, right? What are the things that are coming from this, right? What are the residuals? And there's more people that have passed, unfortunately, right? Due to medical emergencies that stem from this situation, right? There was a woman who was shot, and there was people who went to the hospital, and they're not going to go home to their families tonight, right? And we have to do a lot of critical thinking around what is the world that we want to live in, and how do we want it to look, because, right, this, okay, there's a vaccine. That don't mean the pandemic's over, right? That doesn't mean it's
Right.
over, right? We're in a world where there's a lot of transition, a lot of change, and there's people in resistance to it. And there's a way to communicate and to show what you're feeling, right? But it is what it is as of right now, right? The system has been engaged. People are using it. People are understanding it. And now there's people who are more than willing to disrespect it, disregard it, try to minimize it. They're saying they're fighting for the same system that they're destroying, right? And so my thing is right, as this becomes a piece of history, my hope is that we are reminded and that we're able to learn from it, because I think what's pivotal, what's most important, is being able to teach people so we don't repeat these same mistakes, right? People started mentioning Rome. I heard that in Senate it was brought up, it was discussed, it was said, right? The last republic before this one, right? It spiraled into madness, right? It became a dictatorship, right? Here we are now, and because of the multiple fractures that were already in existence when it comes to this government that we have, right? Our practice, our association, because of the multiple fractures, those fractures are now getting deeper. They're getting harder to ignore. And I know you think it's crazy, a guy with a mask on, like, how's he? Look, we live in a world where your identity is a commodity, right? Where the notion of speaking out, right? I've seen the leaders, I refer to the picture that hung on the wall in my room of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Nelson Mandela. And when it came to those that were the American representatives for change, for people that look like me, they didn't get to live to see what the changes were. Right. So I wear a mask because posterity, my future, my family, right? I don't live in an ideal world. I'm working on it. I'm in the community. I'm pursuing it. I'm doing my best to, as we said last week, channel my anger and use it as a force for good to not harm others. I'm witnessing what's happening. And, I can easily say, like my colleagues have said, I've seen worse. And that is true, right? We can try and quantify it and put it on a scale and be like, well, compared to what's happened to so-and-so, or compared to what I've been through. But we have to zoom out, and we have to put ourselves aside, and what does the world think of us now? Right? Where do we sit in the global scale of things? And what does this mean for our future? What does this mean for what, like, people took off work. People couldn't even work. People were losing the ability to focus because of this. And it brings me back to what was going on with, kind of the lead up to the election, right? With the debates, with the civil unrest, with all of the catastrophes that we were witnessing and experiencing, and people becoming kind of unsettled. And I have to empathize with them, because even though I may have been through a bunch of trauma and I can minimize the scope of what's going on around me, I can't, at this point in my life, trying to be a responsible person in the community of the world that I live in, I can't ignore them. I can't ignore what their feelings are. I can't ignore their pain. It's their pain. I got to acknowledge it. I got to validate it. I got to see it.
Right.
In hopes that the practice of me doing it, they can then acknowledge mine. Because to me, as much as it causes me pain to see what's happening today, there were no surprises. There was nothing out of the blue. These were things that have been leading up to this moment. And I am hoping people can learn from that so we can subvert. Because I've seen people that were like, oh, how many of you will never vote for a Republican again? And I'm like, it ain't about the Republicans. It's about the people who are part of our country. Right. These are people. This isn't a team. This isn't your favorite sports team. That's not what this is. These are people in America who have now feel divided. They feel like they are against. They feel like they have something to fight for, and we have to work together, right? It ain't about being the bigger person right now. It's about understanding and empathizing. It's about being able to have a conversation and hear a person out without trying to overpower them, right? because they're losing their traction, or they lost an election, or they're losing in the Senate, right? They lost Congress, whatever the case may be. We have to work towards restoring, repairing, because this, right? People say it could never happen. Keep saying it could never happen. It's going to happen.
Right.
Keep
Mhm.
acting as though it's just going to take care of itself. We are all active participants. We are all complicit. We all share a load in this. We are in this together. But if you
You
choose to
cannot be
ignore that,
complacent.
come on. If you want to be comfortable in this madness, let me know now. Let me know so I can make my decisions to do what I need to do for me and mine. Because I love what we have and I want to see it grow for the better. But there are people who have a distorted perception of what love is, right? Some people have become accustomed to toxicity. And I'm one of the people to let you know it ain't the way, right? There's a lot of insanity in this monotony that we're in this routine. And we're realizing how insane it is, but not everyone is. And I think that's the thing. We have to be more cautious, more aware, right? Be deeper in who we are. Strength in that. The identity, the confidence of who we are as individuals, to then bridge those gaps so we can come together and be one, right? To
Right.
be a country, to unify, because it's not United States right now. That's the last thing I'm seeing. And so to
Right.
me, it's my hope that we can get back to the the repairing and the restoring, right? Because I was gonna say reparations, and I mean, yes, let's get us some of that. Cha-ching, give us
That
some of that, moolah, baby.
that that'd be nice.
I mean, would be nice is what they doing. I think it's in Illinois. Is it Illinois or maybe it's one, maybe it's Missouri, about taking the tax money from marijuana sales and having that be reparations, right? When you think of something like that, right? That is an alternative that I can get behind. Yeah, right? Thinking about how that comes about. Because in this world that we live in, we have to look at what's been done and really do our best to address it. Otherwise, it's always going to be a tit for tat. It's always going to be this whole, what you took or you did and what you ain't did and what you won't do. We have to look back at the past, because what a lot of these things are founded upon, some of it ain't solid ground. We just been putting concrete over it, realizing that it's just a hole, right?
Landfill.
Landfill, right? If you're from the Bay, and if you don't, well, let me tell you, you're taking something that ain't land and you're trying to make it land. You're trying to say this is solid rock when it's not rock, right? This is man-made. And as we've seen, man-made needs maintenance, right? And if we're really going to have something that's built to last, we have to really understand how to evolve what it is that we have. We have to grow what we have, right? We have to learn from what we've done, not keep repeating the same process and expecting different results. Insanity. So, I mean, what are the things that you like for yourself that you feel like have been instrumental in you being able to just maintain your sense of growth, or being able to stay focused for what's to come next for yourself in spite of everything that's going on in the world?
I think it's the big part of it is reading. Like growing up, I was able to read at a young age, and for me, it became exposure to things that I wouldn't have, come across through media. Like media wasn't telling me about what was happening in books, but books were telling me about what was happening in the world. And I think understanding that if I'm going to seek understanding, like if I'm going to try to understand and comprehend what's happening in the world, I'm going to have to read for it. It's not going to be something that's fed to me through an algorithm. It's not going to be something that's fed by a major platform or corporation. It's going to be me seeking information based on the understanding and how I want to show up in the world. And I'm going to have to read to find it. I'm going to have to seek the information, digest it, process it, and let it change me from the inside out. And if I'm steadily consuming media and what money wants to sell me, then it's going to be I'm going to have a hard time filtering what's important and where my priorities are, and what does growth look like, because capitalism will tell me that growth is a paycheck. Capitalism will tell me that making more money or getting more clients is the progress and the success that I'm looking for, and my development as a person will fall by the wayside or become lacking or stagnant. And like focusing on who I'm becoming as an individual, as seasons change, as the world changes, I also need to change. And so if I'm running as hard as I can to stay in the same place, then I'm going to be stagnant and I'm going to be tired. And if I want to keep my energy enough to make my own decisions about how I want to show up in the world and the choices I want to make and the life I want to live, if I'm going to have that energy, then I have to let some of the demands of what capitalism will ask of me. And I think that was the thing that I had to learn, was sit down and listen last year, and be greedy about understanding my one of my favorite verses in the Bible is Proverbs 4:7. Wisdom is supreme, therefore get wisdom, though it costs all you have, get understanding. And it's just like, it's not too many things in the Bible that are called supreme, or like the thing that you should get. A lot of stuff is gifted to you in the Bible. A lot of stuff is gifted from God, is provided, but when it comes to acquiring, it's referring to the way that you think and understand the world. And that's something for me that's always been important. It's like, how can I understand this world through eyes other than my own? And I like to say, the closest you may get to God is the person across from you. And so, like, for me, it's relationships, man. It's like having intentional, development of relationships that I'm a part of, and investing in those, because those can provide a return on interest that can supersede, what the market is telling you that your dollar is worth.
No, that's real. That's real. And piggybacking off of that, right, with the idea of relationships, it struck a chord, because right now I'm done cut off so many people who close. And the thing is that people oftentimes, because, right, there's a family you choose and a family that you're given, right? And when it comes to the family you're given, a lot of times we place loyalty above love, when loyalty can be harmful, right? Loyalty can be abusive, right? We can often see the dog that gets abused and is loyal to their owner that is abusive, right? And people say, I'm loyalty over everything. And it's like, but how is that healing you, right? How much of that is causing you harm, right? Because it is circumstantial. Context makes the situation and those words become more potent. And for me, it's about love, right? I have to love myself first before I can love someone else, right? I have to love myself and practice that love and protect my heart, right? Because yes, you can have understanding, you can have wisdom. And in that wisdom, that doesn't mean the ability to do all. In wisdom, what I found is knowing when you can't, knowing when you won't, knowing when it just isn't going to happen for you, right? Some things are worth fighting for and worth challenging. Some things you have to let happen. Some things you have to let be, right? And so in this situation, we're witnessing the civil unrest of people who feel like things are unjust or unfair. Some of them are receptive and want to hear, and some of them don't want to hear. And it's not about them staying in their own, cycle or being trapped in their own vacuum, right? You can't help some people from being in their own vacuum. You just can't. But what you can do is practice and create a space for healing, for change, for growth. And eventually someone will take to it. Someone will want to be a part of it, right? Because we can do this with a stranger, we could do this with our loved one. I want you to change. So I'm going to stick here and put and fight and push and try to get you to change. But you don't want to change. And I need to accept that. I need to receive that. And I need to own it, right? That's what you want. I got to let you have it. Now I got to create the boundaries to protect myself, because maybe you not changing is causing me harm, right?
Right.
Maybe you not changing means I'm suffering because I have to watch you go through it, right? There's a point when people become their own, right? I give people till they 26, your brain fully developed. Well, guess what? We're going to have some choice decisions to be made. Prior, maybe I have a little bit more influence. Maybe I have a little bit more plug. But after a while, I have to accept you for who you are. And that idea of acceptance, me loving you, whether it be from afar or whether it be right in your face, that's what I need to do for myself. And I think it might be valuable for some to understand what that is for them, right? I love you, but that don't mean I got to be with you. I love you, but that don't mean I need you in my life, right? I love you. I wish you well, but that don't mean I'm going to call you or have interactions or conversation or contact with you, right?
Period.
My love for you will exist beyond the cosmos, but that does not mean we need to be together. That does not mean we need to be in contact, communication, right? We don't need correspondence.
We don't need to kick it at
Exactly.
all for me to care.
Exactly, right? And I think that, especially right now, witnessing this, it's not to say that we're going to turn a blind eye. It's not to say that we're not going to acknowledge, right? I'm going to acknowledge. But what I'm also going to do is be receptive to those that want to have a conversation and receive the love I have to give. And then for those that don't, appreciate them from a distance, right? Give them that space that they're looking for, because that's really what they need. They need space. Not in a sense of being harm and being brutal, but in the sense of, I need to be receptive to what it is you're telling me. I might not owe you an explanation, but at the end of the day, right, whether or not it's meant to be, well, I got to look within myself first to know how far I'm willing to go to see what's meant to be, right? I have to look within myself to know my boundaries, to know my capacity, to know my limits, because I don't want to burn out. I got people who I love and I care about that I want to grow for. And they're going to be people that are out there that are not going to be anywhere near sustainable for me to grow. There are going to be people out there who just want to see my demise. There are going to be people out there who are going to give me shade, right? And I got to determine how much of that I want to deal with. Can I take some of it, or do I need to leave it alone, right? Do I need to have some space and some distance, or can I just check in every once in a while, right? Things change. Nothing has to be set in stone. Maybe it's for a week, maybe it's for a year, but you have to start thinking in a time that we live in, right? Who am I to say it? I'm just a person who's trying to find health and wellness. I'm just a person who's read, who reads, and who has been able to help and support others. I'm not saying it as you have to do it. I'm just saying there's some things for me that just so happens to work. And I've seen it work for others because I don't hear it enough. I don't hear those conversations enough. What I hear is, oh, so-and-so finna get a divorce. What I hear is, oh, this is how much money they made. What I hear is, oh, did you see what they got? Oh, what I hear is what they got caught up in, right? What I don't hear is, do you love you? How do you love you? You saying you tired of so-and-so or that you're going to start. Well, take it from somebody who's had some practice. Take it from somebody who's been able to explore the extremes, right? Take it from somebody who's put on a mask to separate themselves from the identity of consumption and place themselves into the idea of a symbol, right? I don't want to be iconic. This mask is symbolic. Totally different things. I'm here to give you words. I don't want you to be caught up in what I look like. because I seen what that world produces. I seen what happens when we just get lost in the image, right? I don't care for it. So what do? I opt out. I make a choice. I make a decision. You may not agree with it. You may not understand it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to be about it because I understand how this world operates, right? So in this time right now, I'm just going to share. If you want it, you can take it. If you don't, it's all good. It's still love. So,
Right.
Affluent, I'm hoping the best for people. I'm wishing the best and praying the best for you. I'm giving that vibe to everyone because today what I witnessed was not that. You got any thoughts, final words for the people who are listening on this January 6th, 2020, episode 31 of the Lyrical Ones podcast?
I think it's just important to be around folks who are unapologetic and authentic. Like, I don't want to be around a whole bunch of people apologizing to me. I want folks, with some intention, like that they meant to do what they're doing. And, their choices reflect that. And if you're doing something that you didn't mean to do, maybe you should, reflect on your processes and how you came to those decisions. But yeah, yes, I make mistakes. Well, I feel bad about them, but I meant to do them, you know. Yeah, I guess there are coincidences that happen, but I made the choices, and I I may feel bad about them and see them as missteps, but yeah, no, I did that, and I want to be around folks who say, oh, yeah, I did that, and it wasn't the greatest thing, and it wasn't, the worst thing, and it's not the end of the world, and it's not saving the world, but the intention is, in that forgiveness, right? Like, I'm in control of my forgiveness, and you in control of your forgiveness. So if you hurt my feelings, I can forgive you about it. That's whether you apologize or not, and if I hurt your feelings, you can forgive me whether I apologize or not. And I just want to be around folks that's willing to forgive and just be straight up, like, I messed up, and we can move forward. I think it's important to find folks like that. It's like, just they do stuff on purpose. I think that's how you find it, is doing stuff on purpose, and because you meant to.
Yeah, and sometimes, you make the mistakes you didn't mean to make, but when you learn
Yeah,
from it, you meant to do it the whole time. And I
right.
think that's key. People don't trip off that. If you learn from the mistake, you meant to do it, right? It was just for you to do. That's just what it was, right?
It's like, if I didn't tie my shoes and I trip over them, I meant to trip.
Hey, hey, if you clean the house every day, the house is gonna be clean every day. I mean, that's just how it go, right? Because if I
Yes,
don't clean it every day,
it's not
well,
clean every day.
it's not clean every day, right? And that's the thing. What you do, right? You're gonna do things on purpose, or you're gonna do things with purpose. It's up to you to decide, right? Either you're gonna be the example, or someone's gonna make you the example. It's up to
Jeez.
you decide, right? You can be it, or someone can make you. It's up to you. You are chosen as much as you choose to be. That's where I'm gonna leave.
2021. 2021. Be the example. Choose to be the example.
Yeah, don't get made one.
Don't be me. Don't get made one.
2021, the sequel. I'm just saying.
Nah, this time it's personal.
This time, it's personal. With that note,
This
gonna
time I
leave.
took it personally.
And with that,
I'm always plugging anime. Check out season 3 of Agretzko on Netflix. One, 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 one,
Peace.
one. One, 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 one,
Peace.
one, one. Happy 2021. We at it again. Whatever it looks like, we still spinning around the earth. We still spinning around the sun.
We still spinning.